Hey, family, and welcome back to what is becoming man, a journey down memory lane for me. I'll tell you that. Today is episode 5. I'm down to 4 days left in the United States Army, and I'm going to start today's episode. I won't have many pictures today. This is going to be more story time and a lesson for younger soldiers. December 31st, I can't remember exactly which year anymore. 2020, December 31st, 2020. I was celebrating my lady's birthday with her. And that morning, let me back up for a second. So at this point, I am in transition from the 351st Civil Affairs Command to the 356 Logistical Support Battalion. And I had met a few of the staffers. I had met Mr. Castro, and I had met uh, Sergeant Thomas and Captain Flint. Hadn't met the soldiers yet. And so I was on something that's like transitional uh, PTO. And I woke up that morning and I remember my left wrist feeling really off. It was just it felt as if I had slept on my left wrist wrong. And no matter what I did, I could not shake it. It stayed with me all day. And so I didn't let it get me down too much. I did what we do as soldiers and I pushed forward, right? I continued to do what I needed to do because I had things planned out on this particular day. My lady's birthday, and she wants me to cook. And well, if I'm gonna cook, I gotta show off a little bit. And so she wanted a seafood boil. So I obliged. And I moved forward with the plans of the day. We went shopping and we got everything that she wanted. She wanted to eat shrimp, crab legs, scallops, corn on the cob, andouille sausage, all that great stuff. And I'm right-handed, and I generally hold the whatever I'm chopping up with my left hand as a brace, and uh, I actually cut with my right. But I was having trouble doing that. Not a little trouble, but a lot of trouble. If you look at that picture again and you look at my left wrist, and I'm just now noticing this, but my hand started swelling up. My wrist just continued to hurt. It was off. It didn't feel right. But I continued the day. And let me see if I can find some pictures of that. But as we continued the day, I noticed that the the pain wasn't going away. And I began to get worried. Now I had finished cooking at this point, and I was trying to do some prep work and make sure everyone was eating and all the other good stuff. And I tried continuing my day with a sense of normalcy, but I just couldn't continue. Long story short, I ended up having to leave the party a tad bit early. And I had to leave because the pain in my left wrist had begun to become so excruciatingly bad that it was wearing me out. And so I tried to go lay down, and I uh I remember trying to sleep. And I was hoping that by the time I woke back up after I had taken a nap, because maybe I did something wrong during the day and I just didn't know it. And so I was hoping that I could simply sleep it off, rub some dirt in it, as it were, and move on about the evening, and end up joining the party later on. Well, I tried to get back up and hang out for New Year's, if memory serves me right, and um, maybe I stayed up for New Year's. I can't remember. Actually, no, I couldn't because I was in some really excruciatingly bad pain, and I remember out of nowhere, my whole left arm began to go numb for a second, not for a second, but for a bit. And so now I'm alarmed, and I'm feeling my chest, and I'm trying to make sure that, I was in fairly good shape, but I'm trying to make sure that I'm not having some type of heart attack or stroke or something of that nature. Oh my gosh, I was freaking out a little bit, but then it dawned on me. It's like, no, it's not that there's everything else that's hurting right now. It's just my left arm. I can't. My left arm hurts, and so I tried to begin to use my my hand and my arm, and I couldn't. And it felt so bad that I thought it had broken. I thought I had you know, I may have slept horribly wrong, and I broke it somehow that I couldn't pop it back in place. But on observation, there was nothing sticking out. Bones didn't look as if they were out of sorts. How bad? And so I, as always, I tried to take a Motrin or something, and then it took ibuprofen, I think it was, an ibuprofen. I tried to take an ibuprofen, and I remember having the worst reaction to that medication that was supposed to be removing pain. Oh, it was bad. I ended up suffering from chills and then sweats, and then my wrist continued to swell. My hand began to follow there soon after, and that whole thing. Once feeling came back into my arm, it was the worst pain I had ever felt in my life physically. I had never felt anything that bad, and I thought it was broken because I've broken my wrist before when I was a kid, and I remember that pain. And this pain, it was totally different. So we decided to go to the hospital, to the emergency room actually. And we get to the emergency room, and I'm being seen, and I'm telling them what I feel is happening, and I'm asking, I'm getting X-rays done, and the um, the nurse is trying to have me turn my wrist over so that they can take X-rays, but I'm telling her I can't move my wrist that far over, and if I do, it hurts. And this isn't an exaggerated pain. Yeah, this isn't one of those jokes like um a man catching a cold and then women knowing how it actually feels, like the pain thing. No, that wasn't it. This was literal pain. And so I'm cradling at this point, because if I put my arm down and it touches a surface, it hurts. If if something rubs across it, it hurts. If if anybody touches it, or it felt like at the time, if somebody even looked at it, or if it looked like somebody was thinking about my left wrist, that joker was hurting. Yeah, it's just felt like that pulsating hit after hit after hit that just continued to increase in pain. I began to sweat because of this, and I've got a fairly high tolerance for pain. I can shake some stuff off, but this wasn't going anywhere. And before I knew it, out of nowhere, out of nowhere, I was talking to the nurse, and my right hand and wrist began to experience the same symptoms. And I remember looking at the nurse and telling her, uh-oh, the same thing is happening on the other side. And before I knew it, I had lost sensation and feeling and the use of my right arm and my right hand. And so I'm thinking, Lord have mercy, what is going on right now? What did I do? Did I eat something that I'm allergic to? I'm starting to think, like, what am I allergic to? I don't have any allergies. Did I hit something? And where did this pain all of a sudden come from? Did somebody do something to me when I wasn't looking? Did this nurse she was supposed to just take X-rays? Did she take something else? Did she do something different? Because now I can't use literally. This isn't figurative. Nothing about this part is going to be figurative. But I couldn't use hands on my wrist. I had become so weak that I could not lift the pen to properly sign my name on a document. I remember kind of maneuvering my hand over the pen, and it's hurting every time my fingers would touch the desktop. So every time I touch the desktop, it hurts. Every time my forearm or my elbow rubs up against something, it hurts. And I position the pen in between my fingers and I sign something. And they didn't find anything broken. They didn't find any fractures or any tears or anything of that nature. This was in, well, this is technically the 1st of January 2021 at this point. And then, so what I remember is having to leave soon. I had to catch a flight back to California, San Jose, and I was I had a 2-hour drive south, Fort Hunter Liggett, California. If you know, you know. And so in my mind, I'm rationalizing and saying that I can do this. I can still make it. I can catch my flight. I can drive myself back. Mind you, when I say I could not use my hands and my wrist, that is literal. I couldn't do anything. I I lost in the span of roughly so my beautiful lady, the spur of the moment, at the drop of a dime, buys a ticket, and I couldn't I couldn't pick my book bag up to put it over my shoulders. My hands, not at all. I wouldn't have been able to drag or carry a suitcase. As a matter of fact, when we got to the airport, I had to use a wheelchair to get on the plane. And once we got off, and while on that flight, my hands and wrist hurt so bad for the entirety of that flight for several hours that for the first time in my life, for the first time in my life, I passed out because of pain. And so we make it back to California. We're enduring. I'm enduring. And we decide once again, well, maybe they didn't know what they were talking about. Let's go to the hospital here in Mountain View. I'm familiar with the doctors. I know the type of work they do. It's a great hospital. And if they can't figure this out, then I'm in trouble. Well, folks, this is the height of COVID. And it's actually cold in Mountain View at this point, oddly enough. But and so to get inside, you have to take the nose test thing, and I do, and I'm waiting outside, and the 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 nurse that is administering it is looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and I tell her, "Listen, I can't use my hands and my wrist. You're gonna have to do this for me because I can't pick it up." And she's looking at me, and she's looking at my size, and she's like, "You can't pick that up." I'm like, "No, I can't. I can't pick that up. You're gonna have to administer this for me." And so she did. She finally, I guess she relented and began to believe me for whatever reasons. And so go through that process and come back with a negative test. And so I go inside the hospital. Golly. And They begin to check my vitals, and I tell them, listen, don't put that blood pressure machine on my arm, because what you're going to do is going to restrict my blood flow. And as soon as that thing is released, once you take it off, all that blood's going to rush down and it's going to hurt. When I tell y'all, I wanted to, if I could have, if I had any strength to do it, I would have started slapping people as much. She took that thing off, the blood rushed through my body, and I began to sweat. I started sweating because the pain hurt so much. And then they were like, well, your blood pressure's high. And I said, no shit, Sherlock. That's what happens when you're in pain. Oh, you got a high temperature. No shit, Sherlock. That's what happens when you are in an extreme pain. When you're in extreme pain, these are the responses that your body gives. You're going to have a high fever. You're going to begin to sweat. And they asked me, are you hot? No, I'm hurting. So they stick me in a room. They begin to take blood. And if you know anything about me, I am deathly afraid of needles. Yep, I said it. And I'm afraid of thunder, lightning as well. But at this point, I didn't care. I wanted them to do whatever they needed to do, take as much blood as you needed to take in order to figure out what the hell's going on with me. Long story short, they didn't know. Spent several hours in the hospital waiting for them. And they didn't know. And so Maya graciously stays with me. And she drives me several hours back to Fort Hunter Liggett. Now, I don't have any pain regimen whatsoever because they were afraid to give me anything. The doctor was afraid to give me anything because they didn't know what was going on. And so I'm just surviving without any pain regimen whatsoever. And so I try to figure out how to be seen, what to do, what's the next step. And we get to Fort Hunter Liggett. And again, nobody really knows me at this time. I'm literally new. I'm just there. And so Maya goes to work calling the chaplain and calling the unit and letting them know what my condition is. And I finally get help. And when I say I get help, let me be clear. Maya still had to work. And so she had to leave. And oh my, and I please, by all means, you've got to go, baby. You got to get home. But she promised she was gonna come back out later, and she did. So she's calling the chaplain, and chaplain reaches out, and some of the members come over, and I'm still in an exorbitant amount of pain. I can't clean anything up. I can't pick anything up. Listen, I couldn't wipe myself. I couldn't turn the shower. I couldn't turn the water. I couldn't turn water on. I couldn't bring my arm up enough to turn on a spigot. I had to learn how to use my hands. Not my hands. Learn how to use my feet and my mouth in order to navigate life at this point. And the way I would sleep on my back with pillows behind my back, with my arms setting up something like this in one spot. And the only time I slept, because the pain it was like this. Never dipped down low enough to make it just easily bearable. You know, just the most humbling experience I've ever had in my life. The most humbling experience I've ever had in my life. And I'm still a sergeant first class. And I'm still, in my mind, I'm expected to do this. I can't go to work. I can't call out. I couldn't even pick my phone up to make calls. If somebody called me, I had to figure out how to answer my phone with my nose. Couldn't feed myself. And in order to eat, I had to put my face down on my table and eat my food that way. Taking a bath, the only way I took a bath was kind of like slithering in the tub one way, turning the water on with my feet, making sure that the water didn't drain out, uh, struggling to turn the water off, having the bottle of soap down by my feet so I could just pump soap out. I couldn't scrub. I was just happy that I, I was in water, and to get out was it was a whole show. I had to let the water out because I didn't want to drown. So I'd had to let the water out, which makes your body feel heavy. Throw my legs over the side and kind of do another shrimp move to get out of the tub. Because again, to dry off, I would use I would get a towel with my feet, put it on my bed, and just kind of wiggle around a bit. It didn't work all that well. But during this time, and at the height of my pain, and this pain was so bad that again, the only time I slept is when it would creep back up and knock me out. Other than that, I'd be awake struggling through it because I couldn't get any pain regiments. Um, but my unit, the staff, they came to check on me. At the time, Captain Jed Flint, Mary Vale, Manny Castro, and they saw the condition that I was in. And Manny promised Maya that he would take care of me. Now, let me make this clear also. There came a time where I had to go to appointments, and Colonel Stephen Stanley, this man literally put the socks on my feet and tied my shoes and helped me get dressed, get out to the vehicle, put my seat belt on because I could not do any of this. I was a grown ass man. Lost all capabilities, all functions of my hands, my fingers, my wrists, my forearms, my elbows. And I tried to stay motivated. I tried to keep my hope up. It's tough, humbling. I want y'all to meet my family. My brother, my sister, my niece, my nephew, Manny and Olga. I had to live with these good people. I had to stay with them, with my children, um, for a night or two, so that I could get to a doctor to figure out what was going on with me. And this lasted. This is January, February, March. It wasn't until April that a doctor figured out what was going on with me. Again, I want to show y'all my family. That man kept his word. The measure of a man is how they handle pressure and stress, but more so how they keep their word. A man who can't keep his word is a man that's not fit to lead, is a man that's not fit to be trusted. I'll even say a person in general that can't keep their word, can't do anything with them. This brother fed me, brought food to my house, helped me get dressed, took me to my appointments. He even took me to pick my kids up because I still couldn't drive. There was one point during one specific weekend, I had my babies and I had to take them back early because I couldn't do anything with them. I just couldn't. This came out of nowhere. I just woke up one day and this is what happened to me. This woman right here, and these wonderful people right here, they kept me alive. I honestly could have easily died in that situation. That's how bad it was. And so this segment is actually dedicated to Maya, Manny, Olga, Olga. What I heard my accent come out. Olga, and everyone who dedicated time to help me. There were nights that I cried the whole night and was just done, just tired. I asked if it was at all possible. I asked to die. I had a conversation because during this time also my grandmother, my father's mom had passed. And I remember having a whole conversation with her. That's that pain will make you delusional. I remember asking, well, if it if I could stop hurting, I'd rather just pass away. I'd rather just die right now than continue to be in this pain. It was bad, but my family kept me alive. I can't express how much that means to me and how much I thank you all, everyone who assisted me during this period, during that transition and trying to get back to being soldier again, being able to put my uniform on by myself, being able to put my boots on by myself, being able to put my socks on by myself, being able to put my belt on by myself. I also did a play still. I I was in a digital play. The play was called Rachel, as a matter of fact. It was one of the things that I spoke about the other night. I continued to do that digital play, and this was I finally got some movement back in my hands and my wrists and my arms, and I sweated it out. I sweated it out. I was still in pain, but kept my word that I would do that show. Just like Manny kept his word that he'd keep me alive. And because of that, because of all of these things happening for me and me not passing away, I gave the 3356 LSB the best leadership that I could offer them. in those soldiers as their acting first sergeant. I wanted to be entrenched with them. I wanted to take care of those soldiers. I wanted to instill a sense of pride in those soldiers. I wanted them to know that somebody was looking after them. Thank you for trusting me with that responsibility, soldiers. I appreciate that. Captain Flint, thank you for riding with me on that. That's that's the main point of this actual episode. And I also want to say this to younger soldiers or to soldiers who are exiting. Listen, throughout these 8 days, I've been doing a countdown. Today, I've got 4 days left in the United States Army. Like I said at the top, go to sick call. I came up in the Army where going to get yourself checked on was frowned upon. Being a broke soldier was frowned on. This ailment, this rheumatoid arthritis that I ended up with, is the thing that has gotten me mid-boarded out of the Army. And it started 5 years ago. Take care of yourselves. Take care of those you love. And be about your word. Now, tomorrow, I'll pick the story back up with the amazing soldiers of the 3356 LSB, the amazing team we had, the amazing leadership we had from Lieutenant Colonel Martins, who I think she's changed her name now to Brown. Just thank you all for giving me everything. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Y'all are still in my heart. And I'll share some things. I'll pull up some pictures and I'll continue to talk about uh, from soldier to civilian in 8 days and give you as much information as I can about it. But that's going to be for tomorrow's episode. Countdown is real. And I'm feeling it now more than ever. That's why I can't do a long episode. Today's been a tough day. It's mentally draining. There's so much that's happening in 4 days. Everything changes. Everything changes. But the army goes rolling along. So as I close out, I will share some pictures with you of me. Some you've seen before and some are new. If you haven't noticed yet, I've been building um, with these pictures for something special. Day 8. This is the AIT picture at Fort Lee that I was talking about. That hat was put on my head by Drill Sergeant Grayer. JoJo, you in this picture too, baby. I don't know why I showed this, but hey, Ray. Actually, my buddy Ray, she's pushing forward to get a PhD. So congrats to you, Ray. This is the one that I want to show though. Yeah, that beautiful lady right there. Man, mm. from soldier to civilian in 8 days. 4 days left.